make of Kenny Pickett and what he was able to do there at the end?
You know, he moved his group. He played situational football. He displayed a competitive spirit. A lot of good things to build on from a first performance standpoint.
What about the first two quarterbacks?
I thought I could say the same thing about all three, to be honest with you. They moved their units. They did the informal things associated with the position from a leadership and communication standpoint. They were engaged. It was a good first time out for all three. Obviously, we'll comb through it tomorrow and evaluate it in that way.
The first game post-Ben Roethlisberger, not a regular season game, but a preseason game at Heinz Field. The last time we saw the Steelers there, that was the night the clouds parted and Ben Roethlisberger ascended into heaven. Now they've got Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph. Let's start with Kenny Pickett, the 20th overall pick, the first-year rookie who knows a thing or two about playing in Heinz Field because he played for Pitt. Give me your word association with Pickett based on his Saturday night debut, Chris.
Matter of time. I mean, wow, he belongs. I mean, That was impressive. You know, again, I know he got in there with a lot of third stringers, but it's just the way he looked, how he orchestrated the offense, the decisiveness in the decision making and knowing where to go with the football. You know, the athleticism to move a little bit and the control of the football with accuracy and the little tight windows. You know, yeah, again, you know, you heard me through the draft process. His arm doesn't necessarily pop off the screen, but it's plenty good, and it's perfect spirals, catchable footballs. I was really impressed with the way Kenny Pickett looked. Look, good for him, and you know, he can continue to build on that. They got something going there in Pittsburgh.
I'm going to go with the words that caught my attention in the sound from Tomlin, competitive spirit. And I say that because at some point in the offseason, Mike Tomlin talking about what he's looking for in a quarterback, he used words like that. Mm-hmm. When he was describing Pickett, it tracked with what I've heard from Tomlin before about what he wants. Now, he later said all the quarterbacks show that, but he specifically said it in reference to Kenny Pickett. He is not looking for a gunslinger. He is looking for a leader. He is looking for a guy who is going to run the offense. He's looking for a guy who's going to lead the team, who's got the right mindset, and competitive spirit is a big part of it. And I think that makes it inevitable that we see him. Now, it may just be until Mitch Trubisky gets injured, or maybe Kenny Pickett can climb the ladder. Maybe this is a Ryan Tannehill situation where they install him at number 3 like the Dolphins did a decade ago, just so he can climb to 2 and then to 1, and everyone can say, this kid's earned it. He's not being handed anything. Maybe that's still possible in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, you're right. If he continues to make decisions like that and put the ball in the right spot and, you know, take care of the football, Pittsburgh's got a lot of things to like about their football team there. Now, Mitchell Trubisky looked very good too, and I'll stand by what I've said all along. To me, Mitchell Trubisky and Pickett, you know, they're clearly more talented and better at the position to me than Mason Rudolph. Trubisky looked good. You're right. We'll see where that goes, but this is one where, you know, I don't know. I don't know how this goes. I mean, even if Trubisky is like 2-2 or 3-3, and the offense isn't working that well, this could be one of those where you just go, you know what, let's get the guy in here. He's not going to be any worse than Mitch Trubisky, and in fact, maybe he'll have some competitive spirit that raises the rest of the football team, and we know the fan base will get behind him too. He's certainly going to put some pressure on this situation if he keeps doing that.
Mike Tomlin's never had a losing record, but he's always had Ben Roethlisberger, so that decision is going to be critical, and he will surely want to go with the guy who gives the team the best chance to win. I'm looking at when their bye is. It's not until week 9, so that's not going to be a natural spot to make the change. If a change is going to be made, I think it'll be made before then. Kellen Mond, his preseason debut, year 2 for the Minnesota Vikings, 9 for 14, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Raiders, a passer rating in excess of 130. What's your word association with the second-year quarterback from Texas A&M who you really liked coming out in the draft?
Guy's got a chance. I mean, he's got a chance. You know, he's not the biggest guy, but he has starting caliber traits to me. That's what I look at, and I think it's hard not to see that when you watch him out there. You know, he's 9 for 14, should have been 10 for 14, threw a nice out route to the left one time when the ball went right through the receiver's hands. So I like Kellen Mond. I really do. I think he actually needs to be a little bit more aggressive and throw the howitzer out there a little bit more, just with the his pure arm power. But you can see he's got touch with the football. He's really good in playing within the pocket. That's where I liked him. And he sees the field well. He knows where to go with the ball. That's what impressed me coming out. And, Mike, I don't know. We'll see where, Kirk Cousins, it's coming to an end there, I think, here in Minnesota at some point. And you might have your future quarterback in him. I'm excited about what I saw yesterday.
You're big concern about Trey Lance. He's got one speed all the time. And we saw in the second touchdown pass to Albert Wilson, who may resurrect his career in Minnesota. He was very good in Kansas City, promising, kind of fell off the radar in Miami.
Yep, got hurt.
Year 8 in his career, and he had both touchdown catches. But that second one, it was a nice little rainbow.
Yes.
It wasn't that high speed. Fit it where
he can
it
throw
needed
some
to go.
touch, right?
My word association is chicken salad, because the great quarterbacks can make chicken salad on the fly. And even though the play didn't work out, it was near the end of the first half.
I know.
We saw a Vikings quarterback do something we haven't seen since Case Keenum, where you can extend the play with your legs. And there was some nifty avoidance of defenders in the backfield, and then he broke out to the right. Now, he ultimately threw the ball to the cameraman, but who was standing behind the end zone. But I don't care about the end result. All I care about is seeing a Vikings quarterback for the first time in 5 years who doesn't just collapse when the walls close in.
Yeah.
That is huge to have that. That's what separates the great quarterbacks from the good quarterbacks, the ability to extend the play with your legs.
Exactly right. It's essential. It is. And I heard some I wanted to quote a coach, because there was a quote, a coach this past weekend who talked about that. It's a necessity this day and age in the NFL. It's a necessity. Unless you have just an unbelievable offensive line, and you can not have to worry about that. But, 98% of the NFL, they got to make plays like that from time to time. And even on that play, Mike, I thought the announcers were a little critical, first off. I mean, like you said, he made 8 guys miss. He's running to the right. He's throwing across his body, and they didn't do him justice. They didn't show a replay. He threw the ball high for a reason. There was people in front. He couldn't just throw a laser and hit the guy right in the head. There was a defender covering a receiver underneath who would have picked it off or tipped it in the air. So I'm with you. That was encouraging, and that almost was a magical moment.
Trey Lance, 49ers quarterback, who is now clearly the guy in San Francisco, 4 for 5 for 92 yards and a touchdown against the Packers on Saturday. What's your word association with him?
Whoa. You see the potential of what that offense and what he can be. I'm still not sold on that throwing motion. Shanahan and them made it very easy, and there's still some throws. He even threw an out route to his right where, the guy made a nice catch. But, damn, I mean, his arm was below his knee when he threw the ball. And I just go, that is what scares me about him. But with his ability to run and the fact that he can throw the ball 70 yards down the field, and then you add Shanahan into it, that's where you go, ooh, okay, maybe it won't be 70% completion percentage and the highest quarterback rating in football, but it can make their offense extremely dangerous. But again, I lean on the telecast a little bit when I watch these things. The biggest thing, Mike, and you and I know this, and even, some of those throws that were complete, all the announcers talked about was, can he consistently be accurate? It's been an issue in training camp. Can he fit balls into tight windows and hit receivers on the run appropriately? That's what it's going to be about. I know he's going to be able to launch the play action 70-yard bomb and be able to run around the corner for 20 yards and do all of that. It's the 3rd and 7 where the team keeps him in. Can he thread the needle into tight coverage in that? That's what I got to see. But either way, that was a good start for Trey Lance.
Safety first is mine. It was very encouraging to see him slide in that game. And he said after the game, that was my first time sliding in my whole entire life. I'm sure guys were happy. I'm pretty sure I could hear the whole entire sideline yelling to me to get down. Obviously, I'm a little bit of a different position, just trying to take care of myself. I know me being available, me not being available puts our team at a deficit. That is music to the ears of everyone in the organization, because that was the ultimate problem with Jimmy G. Too reckless with his body. Lost him in 2018 in Week 3 in Kansas City because he decided to throw his shoulder at the sideline and tore his ACL. Trey Lance was injured a couple of times last year, making good decisions with your body. Chris, you've said it before, former safety who maybe isn't wired to avoid getting hit or avoid the opportunity to deliver a hit. I think that's very encouraging because, number one, it's going to keep you healthy in the preseason, and number two, it's a habit that's going to help you stay healthy in the regular season.
Yeah, stay healthy, please. That team will drop dramatically if Nate Sudfeld's the quarterback. Trey Lance is going to open up the playbook, running game and pass game, for the 49ers. And that's, yes, you're exactly right. Stay healthy. That's the number one thing here through preseason.
Next up on the docket, Jordan Love, the Packers quarterback entering year 3, 13 for 24, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions against the 49ers. What do you got on him?
Well, just back off, everybody. Don't just read the stat line. Look at it. First off, really, he threw 3 interceptions. There's only one that you look at to go, oh, that was a horrible one. He threw a dime right here. Guy's got to catch the ball. That's why you got hands. Don't let it hit you in the face. So that's not his fault. That was a nice drive there. This one was his fault. No, this one wasn't that bad. It's behind, certainly. I understand that, but it wasn't like egregious to where you go, oh my gosh, this guy's horrible. That's the bad one right there. I think there's even encouraging things there, though. The ball wasn't that off target. Jordan Love, I feel for the guy because there's tremendous pressure on him. I do. I liked the way he looked there the other night. I did. I thought he made some nice throws. He was good going through reads and going with the ball to the appropriate place as far as where the coverage and the defense told him. So it wasn't perfect. But again, that's another one too where I'd go, he got thrown out there with kind of a lot of backups on Green Bay and had to play the 49ers who had some starters and some guys in there on the defensive side of the ball, and it wasn't necessarily, set up for him to just dominate and kick butt, too.
The best word for me as it relates to Jordan Love is always going to be hate. I hate what's happened to him.
Yeah,
I hate
it's
that
horrible.
He's been put in this position. He's the only guy who has completely blamed this in this ongoing, and it's died down, but the drama between Rodgers and the team, and he didn't ask for it. He got drafted into it. And where would he be if he was with another team? Would he be starting for some other team? Is he ever going to get a chance to really show what he can do anywhere? Are the Packers just going to squat on him for 5 years? How long is Aaron Rodgers going to play? I mean, he's constantly in the dark. It takes extreme patience. You're trying to get your career started. These are years that you could be contributing. You could be playing at a high level. You could be the difference for a team between not playoffs and playoffs, or playoffs and maybe Super Bowl. You're losing valuable opportunities to get better. And so I agree with you. Let's back off on what he does when he finally gets a chance to play. He's not getting any chances to play during the season. Let's see what he can do now.
I know.
And Matt LaFleur defended him after the game. 2 of the interceptions weren't his fault. That's what LaFleur said.
Right.
And, it's a bad situation for the kid. And it's another reason why I think guys should be able to pick their own spots coming out of school, because there's no way Jordan Love would have picked that spot if it was up to him.
No doubt. He definitely wouldn't have picked that spot. You're right about that. And I hear people, oh, look what he did last year in the regular season. Oh, great. He got thrown out there. What was that, week 10, 11 in the NFL season against, at the time, the hottest defense in the sport on the road in Kansas City. And, yeah, it wasn't good. I get that. But it wasn't easy either to just thrown in that situation. I echo your point there. There's some things he's got to clean up with his throwing as well. But I still thought overall it was more positive than negative, in my opinion.
Justin Fields, the Bears' second-year quarterback, 4 for 7 for 48 yards against the Chiefs. He handled 3 drives, no points. Couple of the drives, though, one covered like 30 to 40 yards. The other one went 50 yards. All 3 ended in punts. What was your one word or 2 or 3 assessment of Fields?
I just don't know. I know he's strong and can run, and I know his arm is powerful. It's more than just him. I don't know about the Bears offensively. And then, again, I'm not into stats. I really don't give a shit about the stats. I'm into look here in the preseason. It's preseason football. I just want to evaluate the player and how it looks. And his big completion down the left sideline, he underthrew the ball by 15 yards. It should have been a pick. I mean, this I don't look at this and go, damn, that's a dime. I mean, that to me is, not the greatest throw in the world. It's a really nice play by Darnell Mooney. He throws a ball on the right sideline. That was the other big completion. The ball was wobbly, and going to be out of bounds, and the guy makes an unbelievable catch and gets 2 feet down. So I'm more into the look of all of it. And yes, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a hater on the guy. I really don't. I know I've already been put in that box with him, but I'm not sold on, him or the Bears or anything about their offense quite yet.
I'm going to say flashes.
Right.
Because there were flashes that impressed me.
Yeah.
He had a throw to Darnell Mooney that was kind of a back shoulder 50-50 ball, and Mooney went up and got it, and it looked good. He had another throw to the sideline to Tajay Sharp, I believe.
It was an amazing
catch.
Nice
throw.
Right.
And great awareness to get up to the line of scrimmage and get the next play called before anybody could challenge, even though it was a clean catch. And he just, he moves well.
He does do that.
It's like Superman surrounded by kryptonite, though. He needs
know.
more. He needs help. He needs players around him to reach his full potential. And then don't get me started on the whole field issue, that disaster.
How the hell does that happen? How the hell does that happen?
Idea.
Like, did they not know there was going to be preseason football coming up here in 2022?
Well, hey, the MLS team that plays there already said, we got a game coming up August 18. They said even before the Elton John concert that apparently tore the place up, we're just going to play somewhere else for our next home game because we know how bad it's
only in the NFL. It's just so ridiculous. Messi and Ronaldo, they would never even play. They'd be like, nope, I want my $40 million. I'm never playing on that field. Here in the NFL, we go, hey, we're going to invest all this money on you, but we're going to throw you on some crap, shitty field. Hope you don't get hurt. And, if you do get hurt, it's actually going to hurt us because I got to pay you and do all this type of stuff. It makes no sense. For a bunch of businessmen who are so smart, they don't protect their greatest assets sometimes, and it makes no sense to me.
That's what's astounding to me. Even if you don't regard the human beings who work for you as human beings, even if you view them as interchangeable parts in a football machine, you're still undermining your own investment in these guys by putting them on this field.
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's week 1 of the preseason. All right, Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars. First overall pick last year, 6 for 12 for 95 yards, and a touchdown against the Browns. The quarterback no one was paying attention to because everybody was focusing on Deshaun Watson. What are your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence?
Well, I just, now you're starting to see why he was the number 1 pick. That's my thoughts. I mean, it just, from the first throw of the game down the right sideline, just throwing a BB, off a play action, just boom, 30 yards up the field. I mean, these are impressive throws. This wasn't like, oh, wow, yeah, hey, just a nice, easy preseason completion to get things going. How about a 40-yard dime up the sideline? You saw the talent. He's, like we talked about a little bit with the Hall of Fame game, you can see there's more consistency in his motion. He controlled the ball really well, and he's learning to work the pocket. Now, where he was a little off is he just hung on some receivers a few times. He had a chance where it was a 3rd down, and he threw the ball like in the goal line about 1 yard line. It was tight coverage. He had the corner route underneath it. He was, too quick to make decisions. But that comes with just seeing the field, just like all these young guys are kind of going through it. But, man, I just think Jacksonville, the way their team looks, what I saw last week on the field and what I saw there, I just go, here we go. This guy he's the real deal, and I'd just be shocked if he doesn't have a good year.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.